Hey guys, Happy New Year 2025. I hope everyone had a safe and enjoyable New Year's. We had a good time up at Claris. The G-Star event up there was really awesome. Cooper's Run, like a really good country duo, really enjoyed them. But back to what we're doing today, we're going to do a couple of wok fried snapper that we got yesterday morning off the rocks. They're not huge fish, but they'll be perfect for the wok fry because the way we cook them, we essentially eat all of the fish, so there's no wastage. Obviously we don't eat the guts, but everything else we can eat, so that's the plan today, and we'll come back to show you how to do it. So yeah, I'll just show you the couple of snapper we got off the rocks yesterday morning. We went out really early, just before daylight basically. So these are two relatively small snapper. They are size for I'm worried. They're at least 30 centimetres, which is the size limit in the Gulf. Yeah, so we've gutted them, scaled them, but that's pretty much how we're going to cook them. Yeah, so it's been blowing a really strong southwest here for the last probably couple of weeks, so it means we haven't been able to get out in the boat. So we just went to a spot yesterday which was really protected from the wind. It was a bit of a mission to get to, but because of that, the fish were really in close. We're probably catching fish in about 3 to 4 metres of water, which is really shallow, and it was quite a lot of fun, and we're protected from the waves, which was good. Cool. And one other thing which is quite incredible, when I was preparing the fish and gutting them, snapper are quite just like a bit of a piranha really. They're quite aggressive feeders, and when I was gutting this one, took the guts out, and within the gut bag, this is quite a small fish, but there was I don't know if you can see on the camera, an entire kinner in the gut bag, which is amazing. Obviously this is a little kinner, but it still had the teeth and stuff in, so it was super fresh. Obviously all the spikes had gone, so they'd obviously chewed those off or dissolved them in their guts, but it just shows you how voracious sort of feeders the snapper are. Cool, so we're back. We're just gonna get these snapper ready for the wok fry. They've been, I haven't said before, but they've been on salt ice for about 24 hours. Some people have mixed ideas around icing fish and how long they should, sit before they set. I think the Japanese really like that for their sashimi, so they'll let it sit on ice or chill it, for several days to really let the flesh set. But what we're doing now is just going to prep the fish for the wok fry. And this recipe came from a friend of mine who grew up in China. And what it is a simple flouring with salt and pepper. We've got a bit of flour here with the rum and Q intensify spice mix, and a little bit extra salt. So we're just going to put that over the snapper. That's going to help it really crisp up when it goes into the hot oil. Yeah, so this recipe is from sort of southeast of the Fujian province in China. So that's the history of it. And just in terms of the fish, so I didn't say before, but in the first video we did the squid dish, which we caught those squid fresh. So the leftovers of those, the gut bags and the eyes, we actually used for bait to catch these probably 7 snapper. So the gut bags we froze, and the snapper really like those in terms of probably a pretty normal sort of bait, what they might be eating out in the ocean. Okay, so we're just going to flour the snapper up with the flour and the seasoned flour sort of mixture. This is the beauty of cooking outdoors, obviously. You don't have to worry too much about mess. We're just going to coat these fish fairly well, getting that flour right into the cavity of the snapper, because that's just going to help it crisp up, and it's going to allow us to eat the entire thing once it's nice and crispy after being in the wok. So I'm just going to do that one. It was all very quick. We grab the other one out. I don't have to dry these because it just helps the flour, the seasoning stick a bit. So just being quite generous here. Not a huge amount of seasoning in this, but just enough to give it a good taste when it goes into the oil. Do it all on the tail, because what these do, the tails turn into really nice, almost like crispy crispy fish chips when they go into the wok and are cooked. So that's all good. So we're just going to let these sit for a little bit, absorb some of that flour. But as our mate in the US, Stale Cracker, says, while we wait, we hydrate. The old Stale Cracker, the crawfish king, was really on something about the hydration. You need to keep your hydration up when it's hot, and especially humid. But what I forgot to say before, don't know if you can see here, but I was digging a hole probably about 3 meters from here yesterday and found this incredible piece of obsidian. And what it is volcanic glass, which is essentially created when volcanoes erupt. And why it's probably found here is this area was used quite heavily by the local Māori probably several hundred years ago for garden areas. And because obsidian, when it's splintered, is so sharp, they'd use it as a cutting tool. So what this probably is just a shard off a larger piece of obsidian, which is over time been buried and then discovered. But it's quite beautiful glass, especially when you hold it up to the sun. You probably can't see that, but the light through it is quite incredible. So we're just bringing our wok up to temperature, the oil in that. The snapper has got the flour on, so they're ready to go. What I'm going to do here is a beautiful locally grown spring onion. As you can see, the size of it, it's huge, but this will be quite nice added in to the cooking of it just towards the end. We don't want to overcook don't want to cook it totally, get all the flavour out of it, but it'll be quite nice, just give a bit of flavour to that oil. And we've got a little bit of dill or fennel. We don't actually know what it is. Always struggle to identify it, so if anyone in the video knows exactly what that is, essentially they're quite similar. They've got a little bit of an aniseed taste and go really well with fish. So I've got a bit of that and some flat leaf parsley, which it is going to seed, but it will still be quite good. Sort of just to add a little bit of flavour at the end. I'll probably just sprinkle it over the fish once it's fried off. So in here I've got the rice bran oil. I'm going to add a little bit of sesame, quite light sesame, a little bit of a different sort of flavour to things. And for all the mee goreng fans, mee goreng noodle fans out there, and there's a lot of them, I like them, using the seasoning oil out of those packets, so they're left over, add a little bit of extra flavour to the cooking of the fish in the wok. Okay, so wok's up to temperature. You can see a little bit of smoke coming off it, which means it's very hot. It is rice bran oil with a little bit of sesame with that high smoke point. So first snapper is going in. Yep, that is quite hot. As it goes in, it's going to suck a lot of that heat out of the oil, so it will calm down a bit, but it does look quite dramatic when it first goes in. This is probably like a shallow, almost deep fry. With the wok ladle, or the ladle, I'm going to keep spooning that hot oil over the fish, get it right into the cavities and get it nice and crispy. So I'm just going to go over with that. You can see how hot it is. If the camera comes a little bit closer, you can see as I put that oil over the eye and the flesh, instantly that skin starts crisping up, and it just shows you how hot that oil is. Even the eye, you can see it's starting to turn white. Just that, incredible heat. But this is why it cooks so well. It means we can eat the entire fish, which is okay. So the snapper's been cooking for about probably 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes on one side. I have been ladling the hot oil over it, so already the other side, which isn't cooked yet, is getting a bit of heat on it. So I'm just going to try to turn it over here. It is a little bit tricky sometimes to do that, just because when it cooks on one side, it feels like a bit of a banana shape, so you sort of need to just ease it back into the oil without breaking the fish in half. I'm going to keep ladling the oil over that tail. I want the tail to get nice and crispy, just those sort of like, just like a little chip. Sort of like a good way to start eating the fish by eating the tail, because it's just like a chip. Cool. So the other side's pretty much done. I'm just going to add those spring onions in. I'm going to add the sort of stalks in. They're a bit hardier. I'll keep the other ones to sort of sprinkle over the top. So I'm just going to put those in now. They will cook pretty quick. And I've also got a little bit of fried shallot here. You can get this in Asian restaurants and stuff. A lot of people use it. It's one of the flavourings in the mee goreng noodles, but you can get bigger bags of it. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on the end. It's already fried, so I don't need to cook it again. But it just gives a different crunch flavour element to the dish. Cool. Yeah, so it's pretty much done now. I'm just going to add a little bit of fresh lemon just to the end of it. Citrus goes really well, so I'm just going to turn it off. Doesn't need any more than that. So now I'm basically going to take it out. I'm going to put it in a large dish with some paper towels, keep it nice and crispy. And that's it. That's our wok fried snapper done in the Chinese way. Cool. So we plated it up. It's in the glass tray dish with the paper towels, just keep it nice and crispy. We've taken a bit of those crispy fresh spring onions out. That'll go good in it. Just going to do a tiny little bit of fennel or dill. Not a lot of it. It is quite a strong taste, so we don't want to overpower the other flavours in the dish. And I'm also just going to grab a little bit of that flat leaf parsley. It's going to seed, but that doesn't matter. Still got a lot of flavour. It will be quite strong because it is going to seed, so I'm not going to use a lot of that either. And then just to finish off the dish really is just a little sprinkle of those fried shallots, and then it's ready to go. So the way to eat this really is quite simple. You can eat the entire thing. It's quite a slow eat because you're sort of picking through bones, but it's quite nice to slow down sometimes when you're eating. And you can have it with some simple steamed rice, and then possibly like a Vietnamese dipping sauce, you know, your sort of chili and lime juice and palm sugar, and Vietnamese mint if you've got it. Cool, so end product, ready to eat, looks delicious. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you do, I don't really know what you do, I think you subscribe, but yeah, happy days. Cool.